Or can we move on to ghost stories now?
Let's do it. Yeah, I'm excited.
So my topic for this week, or my article for this week, is actually a lighter one. Halloween was last week. I don't know when this will get released, but Halloween was last week. So I saw an article. It was written by Barbara Swenson, and it's called Haunted Workplaces. And it was just a fun, kind of clickbaity article on different haunted business locations. She gave a couple of the Washington D.C. one of the libraries is supposedly haunted, and in fact they have a camera on it at all times, and they have historical footage of this ghost that usually appears in the kids' room. I don't know, it throws books or whatever. And then they, the Queen Anne, they had a couple other ones. But I thought it would be an interesting way to ask if anybody here has any personal ghost stories to share with the group.
I wish.
Yeah, I'd say no, absolutely not.
Well, you guys are in luck, because I actually have 3. One of them was one of them I thought it was a ghost, but it was not a ghost, and the 2 other ones are, I will say, potential ghost encounters. So I'll start with the one that I thought was a ghost story, but it actually turns out it was not a ghost. So this was back when I was in college the first time, when it was much more fun. But I was sitting down it was night, and I came home from work. I was working as a pizza delivery driver, and I got myself a glass of water, and I sat down and I put the glass of water onto the table where I was at, and I had a tempered glass top table. So I put the glass down on the table, and I was watching TV, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see the glass turn 180 degrees and slide like this, about that far. And I remember I was watching Ghost Hunters at the time. This is when Ghost Hunters was first on.
Of course.
And I jumped up and I was like, oh my God, I'm haunted. What I failed to realize is that the glass table was slightly slanted and that the glass had sweat. And the weight of the glass caused it to turn first underneath with the water under it and move. But for a good 15 minutes, I was convinced that my house was haunted.
Oh, I'm glad that was the answer, because if you were going to tell me you believed that was a ghost, I was
You were gonna call bullshit on
Well,
that.
we were going to have a heart to heart right now
about how gullible I am.
About the fact that there are no such things as ghosts.
Oh, all right. Well, let me get to my next one. That was an actual ghostly experience.
Okay.
Or that I believe is a ghostly experience. I should preference this by saying that I'm a pretty pragmatic guy, and I always look for a scientific or a reasonable explanation. I'm not a believer. I don't think aliens are visiting or trying to probe me or anything. So,
maybe
I don't know. One wishes. No. So my grandmother passed away when I was in high school, and I inherited her car. And so again, I was in college. This was in Tucson. And I was delivering pizzas for a living while I was going to school. And so this is back in the beginning of cell phones. There were no Google Maps. I had a Nokia, and it would spit out Yahoo directions for where you're going in a list. So you'd have to read the list of directions and figure out where on this list you were to make the turn to get where you're going. So I'm driving down the road in Tucson, and I'm looking at my phone, and I hear a disembodied voice say, "Stop." And I look up and I slam on the brakes because I'm about, 20 feet from a car.
So wait, it wasn't a regular voice. It was a disembodied voice.
Yeah, nobody is in my car with me, and I hear, "Stop."
What makes it disembodied, though?
It didn't have a body.
Oh, okay.
So
how scary
there's
that
nobody.
is?
Okay.
There's nobody. Right. There's nobody in the car with me. So
okay.
There's no other body to say stop, and it wasn't me.
Okay.
And it wasn't the pizza Tyee.
Okay. All right.
So
carry on.
All right.
So I thought, wow, that's weird. I kind of got the goosebumps, and I ended up not hitting the car, and I pulled the pizza out, and there's nothing wrong with the pizza, so I thought it should have been smashed up, and I thought, wow, that's weird. Whether or not it was a ghost, I don't know. I was right next to a cemetery.
Oh.
I don't know.
All right. So it wasn't the radio.
It was not the radio. The radio was not on. In fact, it didn't
Nobody
work.
was in your cell phone.
When you stopped, nothing happened.
No, the cell phone was off. I just had it was just text, message. My windows were up, so it was nobody yelling stop and there was no sidewalk on that side of the street where I was at, so there was nobody around me.
Yeah.
Wasn't a feature in the early Yahoo directions?
No.
It wasn't
This was
that.
an 87 Corolla, so it had no type of early collision warning detection. So that's ghost story number 1.
2.
And whether or not, or 2, the real ghost story
Okay,
1.
gotcha.
So the next ghostly encounter I had.
Well,
Hold on.
I feel-
You want to respond
I
to
just
this?
feel compelled to point out that it's possible that the voice was in your head, right?
Well, it's also possible I was delivering pizzas and I was 20 years old and I was probably really high and heard somebody say,
Yes.
stop.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another
There
possibility.
we go. There we go. Okay.
And my memory could be flawed from that 20 years ago, and much has happened in between.
And you
Then
never
I may
checked
not-
under the car, did you?
We're rolling, so I don't know. Somebody wants to climb onto the bottom
I
of
should've
a
known.
87 Toyota Corolla and can fit that ground clearance. More power to them, but no, I didn't check under the car.
I was thinking more like that's the person yelling stop right before they.
Oh, the person stuck underneath
yeah,
the car.
guy who
Yeah.
ordered the pizza.
No, they never caught me for that one. No,
All right. All right.
I want you to know, for just the audio listeners, Tyee is sideways looking at me and does not believe a word I'm saying here. So the next one was, and this is more recent. I was on a nonprofit board for a local museum, and the museum has a location that's actually it's by Rock Creek campus. And so we're there. It was not our main location. We moved from another location into that location. So we're having the first board meeting that we're having in there. It's late at night, and all the board members are together. And all of a sudden it sounds like there's a crawl space or like a storage space, like much like an attic above this that they use for record retentions. And so it sounds like something fell over, just bam, just a really loud bang. And then you hear what sounds like footsteps walking around upstairs, like in different areas of that area. And I asked, is somebody here? What is that? And the executive director at the time said, I don't know, I think it's haunted. And I was thinking, like, bullshit, let's go up there and look. It sounds for sure like something has fallen over. And we went up and looked, and everything is perfectly in its where it should be. There's nothing out of place that should have made that kind of noise. So my next thought was, it must be the air conditioning system or like the heater ducts kicking on or something that's causing, a rattling or something that would cause you to hear that. Unfortunately, the HVAC system was not hooked up yet, so it couldn't have been the heating or cooling system. So, and this was not an isolated incident. Even after the HVAC was turned on, and we were there on a regular basis, we would meet monthly. Every month, whatever it was would make a bunch of noise while we were there. And I never heard those kind of noises when I was just visiting the museum during the day or at any other time. That one for sure, I have no explanation of what it could be. The disembodied voice when I'm driving could have just been in my head. But this is verifiable by 10 people in the room.
Multiple people.
Multiple people in the room. Everybody heard the same thing. And then investigation can't turn up anything that I can put a solid, like, what it was.
Are all those people who were in the room somehow incentivized by museum ticket sales?
No.
Okay.
And
Just checking.
they were definitely not inebriated. So.
Well, old building, right? Could be plumbing.
Brand new building.
Brand new building. Okay. Well, I have nothing for you then if it's a brand new building.
Ty's a believer at the end of this, Charlie.
You've convinced him. That's what it took. You did it.
I don't know. Like a couple of years ago in our house, in our master bedroom, at night we would get this scratching right above our bed, and it would only be at night, and we couldn't figure out what it was. At first, I thought it was maybe the air system, because the air system in this house does make noises, and so I thought, okay, well, it's just a different version of those noises. But yeah, we'd hear this scratching and scurrying and everything, and it was squirrels. Squirrels had I didn't even know squirrels could do this. I mean, obviously, I never thought it was ghosts, but I thought, well, maybe rats or mice or something got into the walls. You Google that stuff and you find all the horrible things that it might be. I didn't realize that squirrels would actually burrow their way into your house, but we had the cheaper plastic covers over the air vents on the roof, and the squirrels had chewed their way through there in order to get into a spot where they could stay warm during the winter, essentially. Yeah. So
So you're saying it was a squirrel ghost?
yeah, I think it could be a squirrel, right? It sounds like your
Oh,
thing could
oh,
just be squirrels.
No, it was much a heavier step than that.
All right. Well, with that,
All right, I guess this is the last time we do ghost stories on here.
correct. I think we can do ghost stories as long as it's clear we don't believe them.
I don't know. That's a tough
I'm not
sell.
sure that's clear.
Yeah. We'll see. We got a whole year till next Halloween to
All right,
consider
listeners.
that possibility.
It was fun.
Yeah. No, I think I enjoyed hearing it. I enjoyed the sound effects.
Yes. It really brought me there.
Yeah.
It was deep. Like we should have had a fire and like marshmallows or something. We should have shot this segment outside as like a scary ghost story.
But we could do that in that we've
It's
got
not too late.
we've got a fire pit in the yard that we can fire up next summer, next fall maybe, and
then we'll tell real ghost stories. about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay, perfect.
somehow get our equipment out there around the fire.
I'll go
and-
ghost hunting for the rest of this year, and we'll come back with even more stories.
That sounds good. That
Start
sounds perfect.
fabricating my stories now.